This content is personal experience, not medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional. Guest views are their own.
Very cool. Okay. Firstly, I want to thank you guys for giving me such a warm and comfortable welcome. It really does feel at home, and this is a very special event, and I really hope that everybody truly takes what you can from this event, right? All of the connections that you make, you're going to make new friends. And it's a very enriching experience. I've been to a couple of these fruit festivals, and every time I go, I'm always left with a very memorable experience. So I just hope you guys take everything from this and are really enjoying the weekend. Okay. I should probably start, but some of you don't know who I am. So I'm Eli Martyr, as Dave just said. I run a YouTube channel called the Free Melon Society, and on that channel, I like to get into health, wellness, cleansing, detoxification, a lot of the things that you've been hearing from some of the speakers this week. I'm also very interested in philosophy, natural science, natural law, some esoterica, some esoteric science as well. Yeah, it's very fascinating, right? Very fascinating. Yeah, I know, you know, right? Yeah. So I like to tie in that to discussions of health, right? Because I find that there are a lot of, there's crosstalk between those two bodies of knowledge, and sometimes I feel like that's missing, that essential core philosophical foundation that all subjects really should premise themselves on. And sometimes I find it a bit disconnected, and so when I can, I like to cheat some of those principles into my lectures. So anyway, that's a little bit about the channel. I'm also a professional stuntman, and oh gosh, a professional stuntman. So FYI, just FYI, this has nothing to do with the lecture, but don't become a stuntman. Like, what are you doing? Why would you make such a silly life decision? Don't become a stuntman. Unless, what's that? She's
like, what's a stuntman?
What's a stuntman? Don't worry about it, it's not important. Right? Okay, unless you enjoy the prospect of maybe waking up on a Monday morning, okay, you head to work and you're there because your boss told you, oh, Eli, we got an easy day for you. All you need to do is just take a couple punches and you're gonna go down, cakewalk, easy day for you. So I'm like, all right. So I get to work, and then I'm overhearing the stunt coordinator, my boss, and the director chat amongst themselves. I drift a little bit closer to see if I can pick up some details about how my day is gonna go, and then I overhear this. Yeah, then we knock Eli to the ground, there's a little scuffle, then we throw him through the window, and then we move on to the next scene and blah, 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 blah. So I get up, I'm like, that sounds like something I should investigate. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I was sitting down there. I overheard you say, we throw Eli through the window. That doesn't sound like just a punch in the face. What is that? It's like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, we're putting you through the window today. All right, Richard, let's cue up those lights and we got ready to go. I'm just sitting there. God damn. Through the window we go. All right, here we and that's what we call Monday. Tuesday rolls around and you got a call in the morning. Hey, Eli, it's an emergency. Oh, we need you, man. I need you. You got to get mauled by an unusually large German Shepherd. Really? Yeah, it's fine, man. Yeah, I'll do that. Anyway. So unless you want that kind of volatility in your life, just don't be a stuntman. Now I bring it up because in order to be a stuntman, it's pretty important that you have a good level of fitness. You want to be in shape. You want to be fit, okay? You have to be healthy. I shouldn't have to be. There are a lot of very unhealthy stunt performers out in the industry, but fit, that's pretty guaranteed, right? They're all going to be fit, and fitness is very, very important. It holds a special place in my heart. Ever since I was a kid, I noticed something. I noticed that there was a difference, because I got into gymnastics, martial arts, even weight training, strength training when I was quite young, and I noticed something. What I noticed was that the enjoyment that I could extract from circumstances in my immediate environment, I was able to extract a lot more joy and bliss and good feelings, more so than the average person. There was something about my fitness that I could use to take from life a more enriching experience. And I noticed that, but I never knew how to express it or verbalize it. And I think if I were to describe what that is now, I'd call it like a language. So if you have, for example, a very rich vocabulary, right, you have inner soul qualities that want to be expressed. And so if you have a very rich vocabulary, you have many, many avenues to express that soul quality with your voice, right? And with that freedom of expression, okay, there's a good feeling associated with that, yeah? And I think it's the same thing with your physical body. I think your physicality is like a language, okay? All of the things that you can do, like your maximum physical capacity, it's like a language. And training your fitness, getting stronger, developing yourself physically, it's like broadening your vocabulary. So now you have those same inner soul qualities, but now you have a physical way of expressing them as opposed to a verbal. And when you have a rich array of resources available to you to express an inner soul quality, the product of that, the result of that is freedom. It's a feeling of freedom, right? Can you guys use your imagination and imagine how that could be? Whoa, that's a beautiful, impressive tree. I have this weird impulse to climb it, but there's no way I could do that. Yeah, but now you can, right? If you're really fit, you can, and extract this incredibly rich, thrilling experience from a walk in the park that is completely unavailable to somebody who doesn't have that level of fitness. Does that make sense, right? So it's a feeling of freedom and all of the wonderful emotions that come with that. So it's for that reason that fitness, needless to say, is very, very important. Very, very important, all right? So hopefully I don't have much to sell you on that. Yeah, it's very important. And so for this talk, what I want to do is I want to scale it back and start from ground zero and tell you exactly how to develop strength, fitness, okay? And what the essential perspectives that you need to know if you want to cultivate those in your life. Okay? Does that sound like a plan? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah? That's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna be very muscle oriented. Okay? We're gonna be very muscle oriented. We're going to focus on the muscles. So for the purpose of this lecture, we're talking about muscular strength training. Okay? Why am I focused on muscular strength training? It's because you have, there are a whole set of biomarkers for health. There are a whole set of expressions of physicality. Bone and connective tissue strength, for example. Your insulin sensitivity, your metabolic conditioning, your cardiovascular function, your cardiovascular efficiency. You have all of these expressions of physicality, okay? Biomarkers for health. And you can imagine it kind of like a marionette string thing. I don't know what the exact descriptive word is, but let's just say muscular strength is one of those biomarkers of health. But to muscular strength is attached to all those other expressions of health. It's attached to them by a string. So if you improve your physical strength, your musculoskeletal strength, it tugs on all of those and pulls them up and develops them in tandem. So it develops them at the same time, simultaneously. So that's why I'm focusing on muscular strength, because it interfaces with all the other expressions of health, and so that's where we should focus. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. So raise your hands. Show of hands. Who here does some sort of physical activity? That's a good amount of people doing some sort of physical activity. That's very good, yeah. If you were at some other event, you might not see that many hands shoot up, right? Yeah. So I don't have to sell you, okay, so I don't have to sell you guys on how essential physical activity is. Like, we know that already, yes?
Yes.
We know that you need it in your life. I don't need to waste time going into the benefits of physical activity. You guys get it, yeah? Okay. What if I were to ask you, all right, raise your hands, show of hands again, who here does exercise? Okay, all right. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Everybody here does some sort of exercise. Was there, okay, show of hands again, if anybody experienced the briefest, slightest moment of hesitation as to whether I should raise my hand again, I just raised my hand for physical activity, exercise, wait, does that mean I should, oh shoot. Yeah, no, I'll do exercise. Was there that little bit of a blip? Did anybody experience that? Yeah? Okay, all right. Most of the time you can expect that someone will have that little brief physical, exercise, wait, no, what? No, hold on, wait, are they different? And the reason that little blip exists is because right now in fitness culture, there's not a good distinction between those two things, and those things are in fact two distinct entities. They're different. When we're talking about exercise creates a cascade of physiological phenomenon. Okay? A very specific cascade of phenomenon that are not extant, that are not present to the same degree in physical activity. Okay? So if there is this distinction between the two, then logically we have to categorize them differently. Now the reason that that's very, very, very important is because if you say that you want to get fit, for example, and you go to the gym or you go home or wherever it is you're going to go and do this exercise, and you perform physical activity because you don't know the difference, well that means there's a waste of time, right? Yeah, you're not progressing. So it's essential to know this difference, all right? And we're going to be doing that in this lecture. So for this lecture, I have 3 goals, okay? The first goal is I'm going to teach you the absolute key to developing strength, okay? That's one. The other is I need to show you what the difference is between physical activity and exercise, okay? I have to do that. And then the third goal is just to mess around. No, it's just, I'll show you exactly what that is, show you how to perform proper exercise, and we can have some fun with that, okay? Sound good? Yeah? All right. So, let's start with this. Okay, so imagine, for example, I have got, to my right, I've got a glass, all right? I've got a table, and I plop a glass on top of the table. And again, I don't know the name for it. Imagine, you know those party whistles? Party whistles, right? You put them in your mouth at a birthday party, and they make this very juvenile sound. Yeah, right, the parent's nightmare, okay? So I give you one of those party whistles, all right? and you've got this glass over here. And my instructions to you are, I want you to take that party whistle, and I want you to walk over to that glass, and I want you to break the glass, shatter the glass with the sound produced with your party whistle. Okay? If you can visualize what that looks like, it looks like this. Like it looks ridiculous. Okay, question for everybody.
So using vibration, May is asking?
Correct. Sound vibration, yeah. Okay? So, is that gonna work? What do you think?
No.
Is that gonna work? No, it's not gonna work, no?
You don't have my.
It's not gonna work, okay? All right, what if I do it straight for 3 hours? What about that?
No. It has to be probably right.
It's not gonna work, right? Consensus is it's not gonna work, okay? Can't make it happen. Why? Why is it not gonna work? Don't worry if you don't know scientific terms, it doesn't matter. Just in general, whatever you think, however you can express it. Laws, okay, laws, that's a good answer, yeah. Limited capacity, yeah, there's something else I'm looking for. It's not, yeah, there we go, it's not, yeah, not the right frequency, there's something strong enough. It's not strong enough, yes. It's missing the power, right? As my daddy used to say, son, you just ain't packing the gear. I did it again, didn't I? Yeah, it's missing something. It's missing that goddamn mustard sauce, son, right? There's a strength that's missing. I need to get that opera singer in here to come and blast that thing with the, I'm not a singer. But that's what you need, okay? So there's something missing from that flimsy little sound produced by that stupid whistle, okay? Okay, all right. What if I've got a saucepan full of water now, okay? Got a saucepan full of water. I put it on the stovetop, and then I crank the heat dial to 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
Really high.
90? Okay, thank you. 90 degrees Fahrenheit, okay. Question, if my intention is to boil the water, am I gonna be able to boil the water with that much heat? It's not gonna happen, okay? What if I let it chill at that temperature for 8 hours, all day? Is it gonna boil? No, okay, why? Right, yes, say it again? It needs to, close, very close, yeah, very close, 100.
Water's gonna evaporate.
Eventually the water will evaporate, correct, yes. But let's assume that my instructions for you were to boil the water, right? Let's just assume that. It's never gonna happen, right? It's never gonna happen. It doesn't matter how much time you spend on 20 degrees heat, it does not matter, yeah?
Powerful and intense enough.
It's not powerful, yes, the heat, it's not powerful and intense enough. With water, we have this interesting property of water where it requires 100 degrees of heat before it starts to boil. So it doesn't matter how much time, and I'm gonna lean in closely and accentuate this because I want you to remember, because it'll show up when we talk about muscular strength. It doesn't matter how much time you spend under the threshold. If you don't get to the threshold, then the effect isn't going to be realized, yeah? Okay, well, what about, I snap to my senses, and I'm like, oh, idiot, and I crank it up, okay? I crank it up to 100. The water starts to boil. And then, I say, okay, I want more effective boiling. So I'm gonna crank it up to 150 now, degrees Celsius. Does that matter? No? Why does it not matter? What happens? Like, do I get more boiling? It just evaporates faster. Yeah. But the water's already boiling. So it doesn't matter how much more energy, how much more heat I put into it. I'm not gonna get better boiling. right? It's the threshold, right? The threshold's reached, and that's it. So anything, and this, I'm gonna do that thing where I lean in closely because I'm accentuating a point, right? It doesn't matter how much extra you put in after the threshold is reached, you're wasting energy. Yes? Yes? Okay, right. So if you want to be as maximally efficient as possible, you get to 100 and that's it. Chill there, turn even down the heat a little bit, but once you hit the threshold, you're good, right? Okay, so what's working behind in the backdrop, behind these two examples I've given you, and we could go on forever. But what's working in the backdrop is the law of intensity, okay? It's the law of intensity. You can't escape it. It characterizes everything in your reality, or you can find expressions of this law everywhere in your reality, wherever you look. It works with thinking, it works with emotionality, it works with energies, it works with astrology. You cannot avoid this effect, all right? Now, I have a definition, so I'll read you. I don't have many definitions that I'm just gonna read to you, but I will for this phenomenon because I can't do better than how it's written here. So, if we're defining the law of intensity, we could say that the effect of a force, an energy, or a cause is directly proportional to its severity, depth, or strength, okay? Really, in a nutshell, the greater the intensity, the greater the effect, okay? That's it, that's the law of intensity. And it's very important to know the law of intensity because that's how muscle works. Muscle works under the law of intensity. The growth of the muscle, the development of the muscle works under the law of intensity. Your mind works under the law of intensity. How many of you guys developed in some way when you were perfectly comfortable, not challenged at all? Nobody. It doesn't work like that. Right? Maybe you can, but no. The greatest development comes when you have a challenge, when you have a stress that you have to overcome. Right? That's when the real growth happens. Yeah. So that's intensity in a nutshell. Now, I also want to define exercise, right? Because I've given you already the key. Okay, so. If I'm talking about the goal of this lecture, the first key is intensity, right? That is the key to developing strength. It is applying the law of intensity, okay? So I'm going to define exercise now, and we'll have one more definition, and then that's it. So exercise, you could call exercise a physical activity of a demanding nature. A physical activity of a demanding nature that's sufficient enough to trigger positive adaptations for health and fitness in a safe and efficient way. Okay? In a safe and efficient way. Activity of a demanding nature. So we have to define what demanding exactly means, right? So physical activity exercise is a physical activity. So physical activity, you can imagine it's like this umbrella term that encompasses a whole bunch of things, right? Like me doing this right now is physical activity, yeah? It's just not a very intense form of physical activity, but nonetheless, or demanding, yeah, exactly, yeah, you're getting it, right? It's not very demanding. I could do this all damn day, and I wouldn't be exercising, right, necessarily. But demanding, we have to iron out what that word demanding means in this context. And I've got one last definition here for demanding. So if we're talking about the word demanding, if muscular loading, okay, muscular loading meaning just whatever the resistance is that you're trying to overcome, okay? The load on your muscles. Am I holding this thing correctly? Is this, yeah, is this okay? Okay. So, if muscular loading is not meaningful enough to render momentary muscular failure within 1 to 3 minutes, then that activity is not demanding, okay? So, momentary muscular failure within 1 to 3 minutes Otherwise, that activity is not demanding. Yeah? Okay, so what's momentary muscular failure? Momentary muscular failure is when there is absolutely no juice left in a muscle. It's trying to do something, but because it's so starched of its resources, it can't generate one iota of force. If someone were to hold a gun to your head and said, lift that weight, and you had momentary muscular failure, it wouldn't matter. You're getting shot, right? Momentary muscular failure in the moment, okay? An acute bout of muscular failure. So if your activity is not demanding enough to cause that, then you start to classify it as something else. You start to classify it as physical activity, okay? That would be the essential difference. So you know a couple of elements to this now, right? We know that, well, you tell me, okay? What is the key to developing strength? What's the essential key?
Intensity.
Yes, the intensity, intensity, okay? You have to work intensely, or at least your muscles have to work intensely. You might have a couple of ideas of what that means. You might think people throwing around big heavy weights and screaming and yelling. It's not that, right? We'll get into it, okay? So it has to be intense, okay? And we also now know that it needs to cause momentary muscular failure in a couple minutes. Otherwise, it's something else, okay? So that's the first goal of this. Like, does everybody understand that? Everyone's good on that? Okay, all right. Let's say we'll move on to okay, iron out the difference between recreation and exercise. So let's say I have got some sort of device, okay? It's a device that shoots out air. So there's a tiny little valve and it's releasing air, okay? And over here, I've got a button that controls the release of air from that valve. I'm gonna need your imagination for this, so help me out, use your imagination. Machine, a long piece of pipe, and a valve sticking out of the pipe, okay? I press a button, pressurized air rushes out of the valve, okay? And when I release the button, like that, air slowly goes in the reverse direction and starts being sucked back into that valve, okay? I press the button, big outrush of air, I release it, and it sucks the air back in, okay? Now imagine I get two people, all right? This is a game show, it's a contest. I give two people a button, all right? They each have their own balloon, their own valve, and I give them a button and I say, I want you to place this balloon over the valve, and your goal is to pop the balloon. Okay, your goal is to pop the balloon. So that's the contest. We have two people, two contestants, contestant A, contestant B, okay? This is how contestant A pops the balloon. It goes like this. And he blows it up, right? Okay, that's contestant A. That's contestant A. Contestant B, right? I tell him or her, you need to pop this balloon. They say, oh, I need to pop the balloon? Yeah, all right, so this is what they do. It blows up, right? Which one of those two contestants is the fool? Hey, yeah, it's a nincompoop. What are you doing? But I told you that you have to pop the balloon, and you sat there and you, for some reason, took your finger off the button, right? Why? Just keep bloody pressing it. You have to pop the balloon, right? So what I'm doing, if I just do this really inefficient inflation and deflation, is that I'm just wasting time. I'm wasting time. If my goal is to pop the balloon, then I should act like B and just go until the bloody thing pops. Everything else is just a waste of time. Okay, So I'm describing a principle here. Continuous tension. This is another element that you need to know, okay, to make exercise as efficient as possible for you. Continuous tension. Continuous tension. One of the best ways to get at momentary muscular failure is by applying continuous tension. If you go to any gym, I can guarantee you that you're gonna look around and watch people exercising. You are going to see broken, discontinuous tension everywhere you look. Let's take a bicep. You'll have to excuse me just for a moment. This guy. Okay. So I go to the gym and I see someone doing bicep curls. This is how you're going to see them doing it for sure, right? Okay, right here in this position, is my muscle working at all? Yeah. No, it's not working. It's completely at rest, right? In that brief moment where there's no tension, there's no muscular tension, my muscles are recovering, just ever so slightly. Now, it's not going to work forever, obviously. You're not going to recover and be at 100%. You'll fail at some point. But the point is, you recover a little bit to a certain degree, which means that if you're trying to get to muscular failure, then this is counterproductive. You might as well keep the tension on. But people don't know how to apply continuous tension. And continuous tension is how you make exercise brutally efficient. The problem is continuous tension is difficult. It hurts, right? But that's how you grow. So you'll see this all the time. This idea of broken tension. So we have these elements now, okay? So now we know that the key to developing strength is intensity. It has to be intense, right? Your exercise has to be intense, okay? It has to be demanding, so you have to fail within 1 to 3 minutes, okay? And now we know the other essential element here is that the best way to do that is through continuous tension. Continuous tension. That's what's going to create the effect. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that make sense to everybody?
So how would you do the rep?
So how would you
Demonstrate continuous tension.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're left with the third goal of this lecture. Okay, well, that's great, Eli, but how the heck do you do that? Yeah? Okay, all right. But everyone's clear, all right? Everyone's clear on that? Okay. All right. So I think I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. So come up here, Laura. Laura, not Laura. Yeah, Laura. Yeah. I'm giving it away a little bit, but you have to be comfortable giving me a piggyback ride.
You mean you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. If that's for safety, if that's an issue, no, then I can get someone else.
Just get it on camera.
Just get it on camera. Okay. All right. You're gonna be giving me a piggyback ride. Okay. And I'll keep describing from there. All right. So what you're gonna do? I'm gonna drop this. I can't carry this. All right. Okay. So I'm going to put my arms on your shoulders, just like this. Okay. And I'm gonna raise my leg, and then you're just gonna cup the underside of my thigh here. And then I'm gonna bring up my other leg, and then
It's strong in your
feel my
stance.
leg. Okay, ready? Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up my other leg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm holding Eli Martyr.
Okay. So, but how do you feel? How is this feeling?
Not as bad as I thought, but maybe.
Okay. Could you last more than 3 minutes like this?
Yes.
Okay. You could. Yeah, you
I
could,
could.
right?
I work out.
Someone put a timer on.
All right. Mush. Mush, Steve.
What do you want me to do?
Walk. Yes.
This is harder. Okay.
Yes. I'm getting a piggyback ride during a lecture.
Okay.
Oh, give her a round of applause.
Are you part of his act?
No.
Well, you can see she's smart. She's having fun.
been planned before.
Okay. All right. Bend your knees just a little bit. Just a hair.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Hold it right.
Oh, okay, hold it.
Okay. Now, if I asked you, okay, do you think you could last as long as you would just walking?
Yeah.
Doing this?
Yeah.
Squatting? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay, good. You're strong. All right.
I am strong.
What if I said squat just a little bit lower? Okay, now could you hold that all day?
All day, no. I can hold it for a while.
You could hold it for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. Now, you
I am
walk.
shaking a little bit.
You're shaking,
Can I
right?
walk like this?
Yes. And stay slow.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, put me down.
Okay.
Very nice. Very nice. So, question for you. What was the difference? Like, did you know, what was the difference between just walking and this?
So walking, I had to have more balance.
Yeah.
I had to balance you better. Squatting. Oh gosh, there's a word for it. Maybe it was just the intensity.
Yeah, absolutely. While you were shaking, I could feel it. Yeah, as soon as you went like this,
Yes.
your legs started doing something funny, right?
Yes.
But I just want you guys to know her size and her, and she was able to hold him, walk with him, and everything. Now you can.
I have been granted permission.
Want some more?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. When we're walking, all the weight of our body, it's just stacked on our skeleton, right? So your muscles don't have to work. All of that weight, your skeleton can pick it up. But the second I do this, all right, now your muscles have to pick up the slack where your skeleton is not supporting, and that requires effort, right? You guys, everybody in your seats right now, you can try this. I mean, if you're sitting down in your chair, try just, wait, before you go, just listen for a second. Try just ever so slightly sitting up out of your chair so that you're hovering above it, but not standing up. Just so, without your hands. So just hover like an inch above your chair. Yeah. Just hover. Right, now could you sit there comfortably and listen to me speak all day like you sitting? No, of course not, right? Because you're applying tension and it's unbroken tension. So at some point you would start to fail. Okay, so why don't so I'm going to demonstrate what this looks like. So now I know these principles, yeah? Oh, I'm not speaking on the mic anymore. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Should I speak? No, I can't use that right now. Okay, so we know these principles. What does that look like? So if I go to the gym and I want to work on my legs, okay? I could do a squat. Exercise does not have to be complicated. It's actually very, very, very basic. You're talking about just 4 basic moves that you have seen your whole life. But it's just how you perform them that makes the difference. So if I were performing squats and I'm wanting to truly do some exercise, this is how it might look. Okay? So I'm going to pick up my weights and I'm going to start. Okay, so I'm moving very, very, very slowly. Yeah? I'm moving very, very slowly. Anybody have any ideas as to why I would be moving slowly? Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, in the back?
So you're not using momentum.
Bingo! Hell yes! Yes! I'm not using momentum. Yes, I'm not using momentum. I'm not using momentum. Why is momentum not? It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad, right? You can develop yourselves by using explosive movements. You can. But why, if I'm trying to be safe, just give me an idea. Why is momentum not as great?
Well, you're not using the muscle as much. You're not gonna. You
Yes.
want to get to failure, or
Yeah.
you even start. Like you're using momentum. You're not going to be using your muscles
Right.
to failure.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll fill in the blank. Yes, you're right. If I use momentum, there is a split second, a split moment where you unload the muscles because you're using momentum and you're allowing momentum to accomplish the work for you. See, because we're very task oriented, when we go to the gym, we know that we have a particular exercise to do. So you forget what the purpose of the exercise is. It's not to lift the weight, that's just along for the ride. The purpose is for you to focus on fatiguing a muscle as efficiently as possible, right? So when you do momentum, like you go to the gym and you're gonna see everybody doing that, right? Okay, get the reps, yeah, oh. That book says I have to get 10, so 10 is the magic number, that's where all the magic happens. No, you're forgetting the purpose of exercise. Okay, so let's get back to doing this now. Yes, I'm using a very, very slow cadence because I'm trying to avoid momentum because I don't want to cheat. I don't like cheating, right? Okay, very functional.
It's a waste of time.
Okay, yeah, and so I'm moving slowly. This makes it more difficult. It also means that I can feel the muscle working so much harder. When you take out all the speed, your muscles now have to do more of the work. And this will start to fatigue you very, very, very quickly, right? It also means moving this slowly, because there's no momentum, I don't have to use as heavy of a weight, right? Because the way I'm performing this makes it extremely challenging. No, I'm not locking out. That's another element here. I'm not locking out, right? So I'm avoiding putting all the weight on my skeleton where I unload. I want continuous tension.
Where's many reps?
Say it again?
Then you don't have to do as many reps.
And then you don't have to do as many reps.
Like set a timer
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. Oh, you beat me to it.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So let's just say, okay, now it's starting to happen. All right, we're about 40 seconds in, and I'm starting to struggle. Okay, this is getting very hard. Your heart rate is gonna be ramped up. This is gonna be the most intense cardiovascular work you've ever done. Okay, so. I'm going, now I'm starting to fail. I can't even lift this anymore. I can't even get up here. Most people would just, call it quits as soon as that happens. As soon as they can't lift it anymore, they just drop the weight, right? And they stop short of failure, which is the magic window. Everything prior to that is just this pre-ritual. Really what you're looking for is that moment where your muscles can't even lift the weight anymore, but you're still exerting the effort as if you want to try and lift. So it looks like this in the end. All this effort, that's where the magic is happening, okay? I can't do it. Okay, I start to lower myself because my muscles are failing. I'm still trying to lift. Okay, that would be very brutally efficient exercise. I've scorched myself. Now, after a set of that, are you going to be anywhere willing to do another set?
No.
And if you did, you
if I put you through one of these, you wouldn't want to see another set for another another week, right? Which is how you should actually go about working things. So when you do this type of activity, okay, slow, controlled, methodical, continuous tension of whatever target muscle you're working, when you perform like that, you save an inordinate amount of time because, like the boiling water, remember the boiling water, once you hit the threshold, anything you do, any extra energy is just a waste of time. You've already succeeded, you've already hit the threshold. In the muscular world, that threshold, okay, the equivalent to the water boiling, is muscular failure. And so when your muscles fail like that, trying to do an activity, that's when all of these growth factors and growth mechanisms kick into gear, and they are released in your system. And once they're released, your job is done. That's it. You can go home or do a different exercise. But it's like a light switch, okay? If I turn on the light's on. Right? I don't need to keep flicking the switch over and over and over and over and over to get more onness. That didn't make sense. I can't even word that correctly. But it's like that.
The word doesn't exist.
Say it again?
The word doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Yeah, the concept it doesn't exist, right? If I want to make my whole body drenched, jump in a pool, I'm wet. I can jump in, I can't get wetter by just doing it over and over and over and over. So when I do another set on top of this, I'm spinning my wheels because I've already accomplished the deed. Once I hit momentary muscular failure, all of those biochemical phenomena, they initiate, and Mother Nature takes over. You don't have control anymore, and that's when the muscles will slowly, over time, adapt and grow and overcome the stress that you were imposing on them. Okay?
Does that mean exercise can be 3 minutes per day?
Say it again.
Does that mean you could exercise just 3 minutes a day?
For a particular muscle group, yeah. So, in total, right, if I'm doing a whole bunch of compound movements, I can be done my workout in as little as 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and then not revisit that style of exercise for another week. The recovery is very important. So this is another reason why this type of activity is very efficient, because it takes time. The recovery portion is almost arguably as important. It takes a long time for your body to recover from the damage that you did in that outrageous set, right? So once you trigger the mechanism, trigger the signal, you need days to recover even just what you damaged in the muscle, but then an additional set of days to create the adaptation on top of that. So you would only be performing this type of activity maybe once a week, right? You need that much time. So you save all that time now that you would have just been slaving away in the gym, right, spinning your wheels. If you just do it very, very properly, right, and efficiently, then you don't have to revisit that for another week. And in the meantime, in between these exercise bouts, you can do, that's when you do all the physical activity, right? Hiking, the jogging, the walking, the running, right? Yeah, swimming, yes.
Does it matter, I might have missed it, you said it,
Yeah.
does it matter if you do more reps with lower weight or like fewer reps with higher weight to reach that level of fatigue?
Okay, so good question. Your muscles don't know the difference between lifting a heavy weight and lifting a lighter weight as long as you go to failure, right? It's the same thing. So whether I starch 50% of my muscle fibers, right, with a lighter weight, it's the experience that is really important. So the muscles are trying to do a task and they can't. That is for them the same as being 100% and lifting something very heavy that you have to exert just as much effort and energy in. Now the only difference is I've slowly and methodically exhausted those fibers one at a time, and now closer to the end, at the 2-minute mark or a minute and a half mark, all of those fibers are drained of their energy, and I'm struggling and trying just as hard. So it's the intensity of effort. That's the way I want to put it. The intensity of effort that matters, not the actual weight of the load.
So what about range of motion? Is that have an effect? Range of motion?
When we're talking about developing strength, not really, not as much as you'd think. You don't need to bloody move at all. Here,
What was the
come
question?
Come up here for a second. Sorry.
What was the question?
She's asking about range of motion, okay, and does that play a significant role in developing muscular strength?
Because I want you to show us, like, okay, so how far do we go with the shoulder?
Right.
How far do we go with the tricep?
Okay, so take this, okay, and just hold it.
This way?
Yeah? Okay, great. You just chill there. So, when I go to the gym, all right, someone, you had asked about reps, okay?
Well, you can see the reps.
You can skip and count time, yeah, that's very important too, right? What's that?
It's getting heavy.
Oh, it's getting heavy.
Yes.
You're not moving at all, though.
I'm shaking.
My
My shoulders are my weakest.
This is like negative rate, you know, you're not doing anything, but you're working very, very hard.
Oh my gosh,
right?
it's killer.
Oh, look
I
at
have to do the other side. That's hard.
that. Yes.
You like literally wrecked my workout.
She's supposed to hold
Like,
it for
how do they do everything?
The point is, even if nothing's moving visually,
It's
the
working.
muscle is freaking out and working as hard as possible, right? Which means, it's great, you go on vacation and there's nothing in your environment. You have no weights, you have no gym, no facility, nothing. I can put you through a
On my back.
ridiculous workout with nothing but a floor and a door frame.
Oh my God.
Right? And you can use this and do isometrics and develop a ridiculous level of strength. Right?
So say like the tricep, you do the same thing, you just hold it.
Yeah, so
You just hold it, you don't move?
No, that's it.
it's one style. It's one style. Remember the principle. The principle is intensity. So you can give your muscles an intense job to do, and as long as you do that and you do it till muscular failure, that's the max. You cannot do more than maximum. So if I starch every single ounce of effort that I have available to me, right? Is it possible to do anything more intense than that for my muscles, right? In terms of what they're experiencing. You can't. Max is max. You're maxed out.
As you grow the muscle,
Say it again.
as you grow the muscle for a period
So,
of time,
mass,
you're gonna-
muscle
your
mass.
you're going to increase the weight
Yeah,
over a period of time because you want to get 1 minute to 3 minutes.
right.
Once you hit the 3-minute mark, then you
Right.
increase the weight, and you start at 1 minute, and you start again with heavier weights. Is that what you're saying?
No, you don't need to get to 1 to 3 minutes necessarily. That's just the range. Typically, you're probably going to be working out a muscle for 90 seconds. Like that's a good.
But over a
That's a
period of
good
time, you're
ballpark.
going to increase your weight.
Over a period of time, yes.
Because you're gonna get
Yes.
better muscle.
Yes, the overload principles, it applies. Now, to get to your question, right, not monitoring weights, or reps, excuse me. So when I go to the gym, like I look like a scientist, right? I'm recording everything pretty meticulously. You don't need to do that. But I pretty much ignore repetitions, okay? I don't record repetitions, 5 reps, 6 reps. I don't really think about it that way. Why do I not think about it that way? Because I'm not a computer. I don't know exactly what my cadence was last week as versus what I'm doing this week. Maybe there's a slight difference for whatever reason in the cadence, right? So because that's inconsistent, I don't even bother recording that. What I can very, very precisely record is the time I start moving, okay? So I have my weights and I'm ready to go. All right, here we go, and start. Okay, so that's a very precise, I know exactly when I start. Everything else, if I keep the pressure on, continuous tension, then I know I'm applying the right stimulus here. And then at some point, I'm gonna start failing, okay? Oh God, all right, 40 seconds, it's failing. Oh, I can't, God, do this anymore. Okay, all right, 90 seconds or whatever it is, okay? Now that's a much more precise measurement, right? When I start and when I stop. But everything else in the middle, it can be vague. So that's why I don't even worry about it. So next week, or even 10 days, it could be longer, when I revisit this activity, I know exactly what to shoot for, and I know exactly if I've gotten stronger or improved in some way. So as long as your numbers are increasing, as long as your time under tension, that's the term you'd use, as long as my time under tension shows an improvement, you know, you can like rest assured, you know objectively that under the surface, under the skin, your muscles are getting stronger. There's improvement going on.
Does the amount of weight matter? 50 pounds, 100 pounds, like whatever, you know?
Yeah,
No?
only in terms of you improving for yourself, right? It doesn't matter technically, as long as you are failing, right? You're going to be getting stronger. Like let's say week 1, I lift 10 pounds, okay? And I lift for 100 seconds, okay? And then the following week, for whatever reason, I don't have a weight that's quite as heavy. You're asking if I lift a lighter weight, but I take it to muscular failure, am I still improving? The answer is yes, because remember, the intensity of effort is all that matters.
But to build muscle.
But to build and improve, right? It's more efficient to just increase your weight slightly, so that you're not working out forever. Yeah. If it's a lighter weight, you'll be working forever before you get to failure. So you need to increase the weight so that, and adjust it so that now I'm failing in like 90 seconds or 60 seconds.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. This is going so well. We're at the top of the hour. We're gonna keep going with Eli. We're gonna give Eli, y'all want some more time with Eli? So Bradley's, the nervous system reset is starting now. So if you want to go do the nervous system reset, it is starting now. Otherwise, hey, let's take advantage of this opportunity we have to talk to Eli with more questions. So please, let's keep rolling.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, question.
How heavy is that what is now? What's the weight? What is the
Yeah, you're very welcome. know. You should have very, very, very your body is designed to be able to do all sorts of stuff. Right? My knees always move. So you want all the strength. This felt very now, if I've got a lot of weight, so if I'm doing a squat now, as long as you move here, just control. Control is the word that I so as long as you make a movement with control, it's not a huge deal. What you don't want to do is use momentum. So, see at this bottom right here? This is hard, okay, this is difficult. So most people at the gym are gonna do this in order to get up. They're gonna go, right? Okay, that's what you don't wanna do. So in order to avoid that, I would just drop the weight. I would just make the weight less heavy. That way when I get down to here, when it's challenging, I can with control, without breaking form. Back is very, very straight, okay? All the tension is in my glutes, and I'm using my quads as well, and I fit like a machine, right? Then I come up. Yeah, it's different. So you don't need to load yourself with heavy weight if you find that you're breaking your form. The form has to be meticulous. And when your form is meticulous, yeah, your knees can come over your toes a little bit when you have a weight on your back. But it's just, you have to have the control.
What about without weights? If we don't have a weight or we're just doing squats, I used to do that fast, so now go slow.
Yeah.
Do you need weights or no?
No.
You don't need weights.
No, you don't need weights.
Without weights.
No,
You are
no.
busy. That's what I mean.
Right? This thing I had you do earlier.
Yes.
This will prove to you very quickly that you don't need weights. I could give you a Roman chair, just sitting on a wall.
Yeah.
That's impossible. I know what you mean.
Against the wall.
Yeah, just against the wall. You know, this Roman chair thing. So maybe I grab a jug of water if I need more weight. So just hold it here. Okay.
Well, that's another thing. If you want your squats,
If I want.
do it slow.
Yeah, do it slowly. Sometimes what I've done when I didn't have weights, I don't recommend you do this, but this is just me doing it because I've developed a good control of my body. I would do it with one leg. So now, okay, yeah, this is too easy. Okay, I'm gonna do this all day before I fail. All right, so I can make this a bit more challenging by doing one leg, right? And then I might just slowly, now this is gonna not take very long before I get completely tired out, right? But it's just this very slow, methodical, controlled way of exhausting the muscle. Because remember, your goal is to exhaust your muscle completely. So as long as you're making sure that your experience is always activated, right? Just feel, is the muscle working? Is it difficult? Keep at it, keep pouring that on, and don't come to any breaks in the tension. Most people will most people don't work out like this for a couple of reasons. A, it's extremely boring. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's extremely boring.
You do millions of reps and still get the same, like you're gonna have to do a lot of reps and eventually you'll wear out the muscle.
Right. Why not wear out the muscle? It's not exciting, okay? It's not exciting to look at for a spectator, right? It's not marketable because it's just not flashy. I don't need to put you on a Bosu ball and balance and juggle donuts while all of these really, really intricate kind of exercise techniques. To do effective exercise, you don't need to do any of that, really. You just need a couple of basic exercises, but perform them correctly. So I'll answer your questions. One last thing, just so I'm not leaving you hanging. If you were starting out and you wanted a fitness program, right? That's good for intermediate athletes, advanced, and beginners, okay? What I would say is you have your compound lifts. So you would take a horizontal pushing movement, all right? If I'm designing my workout, this is what I want to add. I want to do a horizontal pushing movement of some sort. I want to do a vertical pushing movement of some sort. A rowing movement of some sort, okay? And a horizontal pull and a vertical pull. So one more time, a push and a pull in the horizontal, a push and a pull in the vertical, okay? So you have those. And then some sort of hip hinging exercise, a squat, all right? That's perfect. You can add things as you get better, as you get stronger. You can do calves, and you can do the hamstring curls, and you can add a whole bunch of things. But you get everything that you need to transform your body into something that is changing and getting stronger. You really only need a couple of core movements. So a push and a pull in the horizontal, a push and a pull in the vertical, a hip hinge of some sort, and that's it. And then you can revisit. Say it again? You have no choice but to work your core. It'll be working like crazy when you do any of these exercises. And your core muscles really only show up because of fat. Right? If you lose the fat on your core, even someone who's fairly untrained, if they were just to lose all of their fat, they'd be ripped. You're like, how do you work your abs? You're like, yeah, it's just gonna happen, right? So that's. Say it again. Yeah, the hip hinge, right? The hip hinge. Your glutes extend your hips this way. So from down here, right? You should feel your glutes working, and you will. Once you slow things down, people power through it and they don't even feel. But when you take away all the momentum, all of a sudden now, oh, I can really feel this working, right? And it becomes very, very, very efficient to work out like this. Yeah. Over time, I mean, it's something you have to get accustomed to it, but again, it's very uncomfortable. I was talking about why you don't see this, why you don't see people working out like this. It's extremely uncomfortable, okay? It's difficult, it's grueling, and it's not flashy to look at, so it's not marketable. And so you never see it, right? Instead, you get a whole bunch of other opinions and innovations that are not necessary.
What are your thoughts on wearing a weighted vest for walking?
That's great, actually. Yeah, it's great. No, it's not going to be exercise, right? But it's still health promoting. So I should say that. That's actually a good point. It might sound like I'm poo-pooing physical activity, and I'm not. It's essential, right? But it's just different than exercise. So a weighted vest is going to be great for many, many reasons, right? It's a little bit more stress for your lower extremities. You'll be improving your bone density, okay? You'll be working a little bit harder, but you can still walk with a weighted vest all day, right? So it's not exercise, but it's still a very healthy thing to do. I don't recommend eliminating walking from your routine. So yeah, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. If you say I need exercise and you go throw on a weighted vest, understand that you're not doing exercise. Right?
And how often should we do it?
How this? A muscle group is going to need rest. If you do proper exercise, like what I was doing here, a week, it can be more. Okay, a lot of people are fearful that you're going to lose your gains if you take a break from activity. Not going to happen. You have to try pretty hard. Your body is very, very, very good at preserving your muscle mass, and you can put it this way, has anybody had the experience of taking a break from their regular routine, going on vacation, and maybe you feel guilty and like, oh man, I was drinking and I was boozing on vacation and I was eating like crap and I didn't do anything, I was just lounging on the beach all day for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then you get back home, you go to the gym, right? And you're expecting that you're going to be weak, and you just, whoa, what happened, right? Has anybody experienced that? Yes, yes. You were surprisingly stronger when you got back from all of that non-working out, right? Yeah.
I got a question for you. Let's say you put a goal, I'm going to do 100 push-ups.
Okay, sorry, hold on, wait 1 second. Let me finish this idea,
okay,
and then I'll answer your question. Yeah. So, you're stronger. Okay, you are stronger. The reason is that you're stronger is because your body doesn't just sacrifice its muscle mass when you give it merely a week rest. What kind of awful design would that be, right? That's not how your body works. What happens was that you allowed enough rest so it was able to rebuild itself and then create an additional tissue changes to overcome the stress of the previous workout. You just gave it more time. And so now you're stronger. So the question is, well, why don't you just do that all the time? But people, we forget. And then we get back into the, go hard, go home, David Goggins thing, right? You gotta hit it hard every day. That's a recipe for disaster. That's when all the complications come, right? When people, running is great, but it can be dangerous because you don't afford enough time to rest, and that chronic up and down, that chronic bounding, it requires time to recover from, and so people can run into issues. So the time is very important, the recovery time. Yeah. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, he had a question first.
So let's say somebody sets a goal, I want to be able to do 100 push-ups.
Okay.
What is the best way of developing your muscles to do? Is to go out and do 10 reps a day or 1 rep of exhaustion or whatever?
Okay, so there's an element to this lecture that I couldn't cover, right? Skill practice. And what is a skill? Push-ups, as much as they are a very, very effective exercise, but there's also a very heavy skill component to exercise. When you do a movement over and over and over and practice it day in, day out, day in, day out, it is a skill. And so your nervous system is very good at adapting to a particular skill and coordinating the muscles in a way that make that movement as efficient as possible. So there are 2 elements, right? There's the skill portion of a push-up, and there's also your raw strength, your raw physical strength. So to answer your question, if I wanted to improve my max push-up number, I would have to practice the skill of push-ups, okay? And once a week, I would do exercise. So I would do exercise, maybe even in a push-up. You guys can't see me. I'm doing push-ups, okay? I'm doing push-ups. So I'm doing exercise now, and I'm just going to do this very, very slow, controlled type of push-up, right? The type of push-up that nobody wants to do. Like this will be very, very difficult, very, very soon. Especially if I don't block out. Remember I said you're not blocking out. Right? Most people come up to here. Why? You're wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. Right? I would only come to about here. Now my muscles are engaged. And if I don't let them take a break, my muscles are screaming at me like, "What are you doing? Give me a rest." But don't respect that.
You go to it until you can't do it anymore. Like just so you cannot.
So you cannot.
Then you fall, basically.
Okay.
Fall.
Yeah. So there's going to be a time coming up pretty soon when I won't be able to let's just say I can't push up anymore, and you keep fighting. Keep fighting.
you're gonna go through this isometric portion where even that starts to fail. And then eventually you'll start to collapse, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Oh, God, right? And it's exhausting. So I would do that once a week. And then the rest of the time in between those bouts of activity, if my goal was to get very good at push-ups, then I would practice push-ups and avoid failure completely.
But like trying to max out every time you do push-ups?
No,
you said every 2 hours?
no,
or what?
no, not max out, no. I would do maybe 70%, I would only go to like 70% of my muscles capacity and then stop there. I would not go till failure. So, give you an example. Let's just say I can only do 10 push-ups, all right? On Monday, I did this. I did the exhausting set, okay? Then the rest of the week, I would not go to failure, and I would just practice the skill, right? So let's just say I start, I go, okay. Do about 3 or 4, and then that's it. Carry on with the rest of my day. Maybe 10 minutes later, come and do another one. Just enough so that it's challenging, but you're not failing. Because you're trying to log in as many repetitions as possible. So you're training your nervous system to be very good at that movement, okay? That's the difference. So there's a skill component to this that you would practice just like any other skill. Like if I were a juggler, I need to juggle over and over and over and over, and then at some point I'd be freakishly good at juggling. Strength skills are like that, right? There's a skill portion that you just practice. And you would just avoid failure, because then you would be burning yourself out. Then you'd be being counterproductive. You would tear up muscle fibers, and now you have to start from ground zero again. So you don't want to disrupt the recovery that you're making from your session on Monday. But if you avoid failure, then you're okay to do that, and you can practice different skills without disrupting your recovery. So if I wanted to get to 100 now, all right, and I can only do 50, then I would practice doing 40 and not exceed that, and then just take a rest, make sure I'm not exhausted, I haven't starched myself, read the newspaper, just carry on with your day, and whenever you have a moment in that day where you feel like you are back to full recovery, drop and do another 40, right? And just keep doing that all day. You do that all day, you're gonna get strong very, very fast. You're gonna improve.
So say do it like every hour or something like that.
Yeah.
Just and
Perfect.
Never max out, and maybe you do 60-70%.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. And then what you find is that those 40 now on week 2 are gonna be a lot easier than they were week 1. Because you're just logging in all this practice, right? So then you could just slightly increase your number. Instead, go to 43 or 44, right? Because you'll be a bit better, you'll be a bit more coordinated with that movement, and you'll be getting stronger over time when you add an actual round of exercise, right? And so now you're doing your skill practice, and then just that number will bump up every once in a while. Whenever you feel that when it's too easy, when that 40 repetitions is too easy, you're just flying through it, yeah, it means you improved, so you can pick up that number. But you would just never approach the 80% range of your muscles capacity when you're doing skill practice. This applies to any sport. So coaches, I think, err when they mix skill practice with conditioning. That's an error. They shouldn't do that. What you want to do is you want to exercise on a completely separate day, completely separate time for your athletes, so that they're getting stronger, But then when it comes time to skill practice, you just practice skills, right? You don't condition them with your skill. That's because you'll just be messing up. You'll be confusing the nervous system. You'd want to keep those things distinct. Okay, so that's how I would do it. All right, one round of exercise and then skill practice. Have fun. Avoid fatigue.
Isn't there a part of endurance that's beyond skill though? Like if I want to run a marathon,
yes.
I need the heart conditioning and the lung conditioning, and I need to get out. My belief anyway is I need to get out and do a 2.5 hour run on Saturday.
Right, right. Okay, so if you are a competitive athlete and you're competing against other people for that very specific skill, in that case you're correct. You need to actually go and practice the skill, right?
But like a weekend warrior.
A weekend warrior would not have to do that. No.
Oh.
If they wanted to improve their cardiovascular.
If they wanted to complete the marathon and qualify for Boston or whatever.
Okay, okay. Well, one thing that you could do is increase your strength, right? Strength improves your ability to run a marathon, right? If you have 2 marathon runners and one is stronger, one does strength training, not even a contest blow the other competitor out of the water. It's actually the muscle itself. Even with cardiovascular endurance, and this has been looked at, it's been studied, where it's the muscle itself and all the changes that are happening at the muscular level that are really responsible for your endurance, right? So it's changes and adaptations and improvements in efficiency of how the muscles uptake oxygen and all of those configurations that improve, not necessarily changes in the heart and the lungs. That's not really it. It's what's happening at the muscle that improves and makes it easier for the heart and lungs to operate, right? So you're always muscle focused. So for that weekend warrior, getting strong is a very, very good way to supplement their marathon running practice. Again, marathon running it's a skill, right? Your body changes and adapts to it, right? The more you do it, just like a construction worker who's been in the business for forever. You can see it, it's written in their body what they do habitually, right? There are changes, they've adapted to that type of work. Their hands are like iron, right? Their fingers are fatter and denser. Right? Your body is very good at doing and becoming exactly what you tell it to become. So if I'm looking to run a marathon, I need 2 things. I need to practice the skill over and over and over, just like the skill of juggling, and let my body make whatever adaptive changes. But I also want to get as strong as humanly possible, because when you work on muscular strength, you improve all of the metrics: cardiovascular conditioning, bone integrity, blah, 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 on and on it goes. So strength is like the king biomarker.
Like you said with the push-ups,
yeah.
I mean, would it be good to go out and, run 5K 5 times a day rather than running 20 miles?
No, that would not be a good idea. No, you would overtrain very quickly, and this is in fact what happens a lot with people running. Knee issues every day, like clockwork, because when you're running, it's a chronic activity, and your tissues don't like chronic bounding activity that they can't recover from. When you don't do that activity, so let's just say I would scale it down. I was just interested in general cardiovascular training. I could scale it down and just do short, intense bursts of activity. For example, okay? All right, I want to do cardio for the day. So I'm going to get my watch ready, and here we go. Burn this as fast as possible. Oh, piece of shit. Okay. Okay, so for the next 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes, my system is going to be working just as hard as if I were to be jogging. There's no distinction really. Sorry, excuse me. All right.
You need time
So
to
is that what
recover.
you do for your cardio? You just do that? No, like 10,000 steps a day, or
Never. No, never.
you just do a short burst and that's it?
Short burst, wait until I'm recovered a bit. It could be 3 minutes, 4 minutes, doesn't really matter too much. 6 minutes, 2 minutes, and then do that again.
That's it.
And then do a couple rounds of that. So you could do maybe 4, 5 rounds in a day, and that's it. So you would knock out your cardiovascular work in what?
And save 2 hours a day.
8 minutes total, right? And save so much time.
And would you do that daily?
3 hours.
Again, for many reasons, very good for you. Lymphatic drainage, all sorts of stuff.
But to his point, everything he's saying to us today is to minimize our time.
Yes.
Shorten our
Yeah.
time, get everything more
No, I love it.
efficiently.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
oh
no, I
my
get it,
gosh,
but I'm
that's
just
saving you
wondering
like so
if
much
we need
time.
to rebounding and not having to on the pavement with the jogging, you know, like you're not having that.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. Do you know, okay, rebounding. It's very good, it's very marketable, right? You see ads where people are doing it, and what are they doing? They're having fun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is great. All right, ladies, come on, join in, right? All right,
But
bouncing.
it's not intense.
It's
But doing this,
Yeah.
you could do that on there. You could do that on there. You do it on there.
Exactly.
I can't run a 45-minute class of exercise. That's never gonna happen. No one could last that long. But I can run a 45-minute class of rebounding. Yay! Right? This is great, right?
We
The
only
fact
need
that
to
you-
do a few intense on, even on the
Intense.
rebounder, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Intense, and that's it. We don't need to.
Yes. It's the intensity
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah.
So that I was just doing is very intense. But I can't do it forever. Just do a short bout and then recover for a little bit, do it again, recover for a little bit, and then that's it. That's all
What
you
we were
do.
meant to do, like sprinting, we don't need to run, we just
Right.
sprint and that's it.
So
Sprint.
2
Yeah.
or 3 times, 2 or 3 sets of that high intensity?
Yeah, 3, 4. I would say 4. Let's call it
sets
4
of high
rounds
intensity a day.
of intensity.
Or twice
Per
a day.
day.
Or twice
No,
a day
not
if
per
you want.
day. No, I would only do that twice a week.
And that's gonna strengthen the cardiovascular.
Yes.
And I don't need to go walk 10,000 steps a day.
No.
You could, I mean, it's not horrible, right?
You love it? No, I know, but like,
Now, don't mistake me. I'm not saying that it's unhealthy to walk. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
There are lots of good reasons to do it.
Right.
What I'm telling you is that if you want to improve your fitness,
Cardiovascular.
you can do that in a fraction of the time. You don't need to go for those long walks in order to improve your fitness. In fact, I would improve your fitness remarkably faster if you were just to come and do some of these exercises.
Oh my God.
But you need cardio and you need strength, you need both.
This has totally changed my life.
When you do proper strength training, you are doing cardio. You are doing cardio. You
So
can't, these aren't two distinct entities.
Yes.
Right? Aerobic work and anaerobic work. They're just different expressions of one system. You can't really work one and not the other one. This is just our human
you're doing it
thinking. We like to
properly.
break things into
Well,
compartments that
you don't know, you hear
talk
so
to each
many
other.
things.
Now you know.
You hear all
Oh,
these
I know.
things.
I know.
Now, I just did 20 of the slowest squats I've ever done just before.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, am I doing it wrong or do I just need to do 30, 40, 50? Like how many do I need to actually, if I'm doing it that slow, because I used to do 100 a day, let's just say,
So
but
you
fast,
can't
I
do
used to do
anymore.
fast, right?
Right.
So
What?
you can't do it anymore.
So the 20 is not, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter the number.
The reason that you go to a facility or use weights is because you're making exercise efficient. The reason that you can go forever is because legs are strong, right? You can do this all day, right?
But if you do it slower, it's just different, no?
It's different, yes, it's
do it as
different.
much.
It's different,
Or not.
but if you're strong enough that you find that you can do this for 4 or 5 minutes before you fail, then you need to add weight, right?
Put Eli on your back.
Or
Can I try that?
or find some other way to perform the exercise that invites
Like one leg.
more challenge.
Yeah.
One leg. Pistol squats are really great.
One minute.
So
And then that would be to, so like for people who want to bodybuild and they want
Yeah.
to build big muscles, they just need to incorporate more weight.
they need to they need to train with the exact same intensity that anybody would be training. Nutrition now plays a role. I haven't gone into nutrition at all, but there's that element as well. So you can talk to Dr. Arelli, there's all sorts of nutritional considerations. But
Are
essentially,
natural, like a fruitarian and natural, you're gonna go to your natural genetic potential
yes.
without augmenting something that's not a natural.
Yeah, if you're asking me, then
Like
yes.
asking you, I know you're a fruitarian, I know you eat like 1 or 2 meals a day, and they're just fruit,
Hold on.
and this is where you're at.
1 second. The pistol squats.
Yeah,
Just so
yeah,
I don't want to, freeze over. So if I'm doing pistol squats, right? Because I need something that's a bit more intense,
Yeah.
then I could take a chair just for safety, right? And then try to stand up in the chair, sit down, stand up,
Or go all the way down, obviously. You probably
right? The change in direction, right? That's where it's challenging. When people change directions, usually they
Yeah.
they pop out of the bottom. But to just very slowly control that direction change is quite challenging. So that's something I could do. That's entirely
You could even go down all the way, I'm sure, right? I used to do that in figure skating, I remember.
Yeah. That's,
But you don't need to, you're saying?
Yes, I can, but you don't need to. If I'm exercising, I don't need to do that. Right?
Unless you're doing intense, then you're gonna do it all the way down. If you're doing not the exercise, the skill, well, no.
This is a skill. There's all sorts of balance considerations. Like my mind has to figure out how to coordinate this. So
But if you're doing it to the fullest that you want, wouldn't you go all the way down?
if I want to get good at this,
Yeah.
then this will take some practice for my body to figure out what this movement is.
But that's more intense than just doing it on the chair, or no?
Is
Or
it, no,
You didn't feel it like,
no, it's not more intense.
okay, so maybe the chair's more
No,
intense.
it's just this is a skill, and I'm practicing going all the way down. But no, it's not more intense, because remember, you can't do more than max. So it doesn't matter if I'm going all the way down or not. If I've done this to exhaustion and I'm freaking out because I can't get more
Okay, I
intensity.
just thought
during-
maybe it's so much harder that you would do like 2 of those and be done, and then maybe do 5, you know what I mean? I thought it would be like way harder.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It is, because down here it requires a lot more effort to come out of the hole.
Yeah.
So you're right. It is. But what I'm saying is,
You want to shorten the time.
you don't
correct?
need to if there are mobility limitations that you can't do
Yeah,
that,
if you,
right?
yeah.
So you can just
So we're all about shortening the times, right? We don't
Yeah.
have to do it so long, so the most intense that we could do shortens the time.
Right.
If you could do it, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I would say, I think a lot of us get wrapped up in the details, but if you just focus on the principle, I have to work intensely and I have to fail in 1 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you focus on that, then it'll answer your
Sounds like
question.
it goes also with Dr. Graham, I don't know if you know, he trains, but I took one of his things, went his thing, and I used to work with the weights, but I was so weak, and I did like, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, I would do as many as I can, that's it, and then I would go, And then I don't think I got anywhere, but when I took his thing, I learned that, well, no, I was doing lifts with like, I don't know what pounds of that, I couldn't even believe what I was doing, but only like 3. I didn't have to, I did like intense and just 3, and then I didn't have to do 20, but it was like, okay, I didn't think I could do it, but I did.
Right.
And so it's kind of the same, right, the way what you're saying.
Or even max.
Like instead of wasting time with like little bicep curls like a million times.
Right. Yeah. The weight is not as important. You just have to manipulate your style of execution so that your muscles are exhausting themselves as efficiently as possible. So I'm not going all the way down here because that's disengaged. So I would only stop here and then just work on this until my muscle is completely exhausted.
Like you really need a weight. You just do the biceps even just like that?
No, because then I'll be here all day. I can do this until the cows come home.
But I'm saying I should up the weight and do, instead of lower weight, I should up the weight and then I'll do it slowly, but up the weight and then I can
Yes. If up the weight, if that's what you need.
I might be able to do 1 with an up weight. Is that better than doing?
Up the weight so that you are failing between 1 to 3 minutes. That's it. That's it. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to be an improvement.
Just 1 clip?
Yeah, of course. This thing? Oh, I'm not sure. Here, you can take a look. Sorry, got questions?
What are your thoughts on specific muscle groups versus full body exercises?
Specific muscle groups and full body exercise. Both are beneficial, both are helpful. If you want to save time, then you can do compound exercises.
Just like once every 10 days?
Yeah. Like let's just say I wanted to do full body routine, then I would only do compound exercises. Your nervous system cannot tolerate compound exercises and isolation exercises all in one shot. If you work out like this, no way, you'll be burnt out way too quickly. See, the thing is that this type of exercise is so demanding and so draining that you have to be mindful of like the systemic fatigue of doing it. Meaning, if I do biceps and I do triceps one day, and I might not want to do any legs that same day because they will be affected by the amount of cardiovascular work you're putting into, and then the triceps, same thing. It's a lot, right? So there's a systemic fatigue that goes along with doing even isolation exercises. 1 second. So whether you're doing isolation or compound, it's all going to work. As you get better, maybe you might want to split things up a bit. So maybe compound exercises as you get stronger and stronger and stronger, you get better ability to control your body. Okay, now I'm starting to move some weight, but doing my whole body is way too fatiguing. Like I'll tell you, like all this, like the horizontal push, pull, it's phenomenal. It's a very, very good base workout. But when you get stronger, that is going to start to fatigue the hell out of you because you're getting stronger and moving more weight. So you might now need to split it up. All right? Oh, this is just too systemically fatiguing. By the time I get to my legs, I'm done. Right? So I would split it up now. Okay, Monday I'm going to do just upper body. And then next Monday, I'll do legs. Right? And then, so 2 Mondays from now, then I'll do upper body again. You might need to split it up that much.
We're so energized. Let's do some exercise. Let's go.
Right? Did that answer your question? Yeah.
Thank you. What is a vertical pull if someone cannot do a pull-up?
If someone cannot do a pull-up.
What is a vertical pull?
Oh.
That's what I was asking, like what machinery, what do you use?
Okay, pulling is one of the harder movements to emulate when you don't have a facility. Okay, it's challenging. You want something to pull up against.
Workout band.
I'll show you a makeshift way that I found to do pulling work when I have nothing. right? When I'm just in my hotel room or whatever. So line up 2 chairs, just like this, okay? Again, this is not the safest way to go about it. I'm just doing it because, you know, I'm makeshifting, right?
Another stunt.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I could do something like this, hold on to these 2 chairs, right? Whoa. And do very, very slow controlled pulling.
There's a new kickboxer. Van Damme doesn't split on the chairs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like, you can see how like this is far more grueling than just right? You're really consciously connecting with your muscles. It's actually a very spiritual thing. You really dial in and focus and become hyper aware of what the muscle's doing. The second I feel that, oh, it just got easy, I know I have to switch directions and make it hard again. So it allows you to consciously dial in, and then you're just in and out of the gym, just so quick, efficient. You're breathing heavy. Like people watch me work out at the gym. I remember the last guy, one of the last sessions I had, he was watching me exercise. I was doing, what was I doing? Well, you know that back machine where you push against it? And he's watching me do it, and I'm just not doing anything special, but just controlling. And by the time the set ended, he walked over to me, he's like, "You look like a guy who knows exactly what he's doing." That made me laugh. But okay, so something like that you could make shifts in your hotel room. A vertical pull is a little bit more complicated. Yeah. You would probably need to find something like a ledge or something that you could sit near and pull this way. It's harder. It's harder. It's one of the hardest types of exercises to emulate when you don't have a bar to hang off of or a facility. But you're also asking, what if you can't do pull-ups? You don't have to. It doesn't matter. Let's just say I have a low bar, like at a playground, at a children's playground, right? I just have my legs touching the ground like this, and use disciplined control to not use my legs and to focus only on the working muscle. So my legs are touching the ground, I grab this children's bar, and I just, and make sure that I'm consciously using only my upper body, my lats, to do this work, and my biceps and everything else. And disengage your legs completely. Just take them out of the picture, right? But it requires you to have conscious control of that, right? If you get swallowed up, not you, but I mean, if we get swallowed up in the the wrong objective, I need to do 10 reps because that's what my program says, then what will happen is you will use your legs because 10 reps is the goal. So you'll lose track of what you're actually doing there. That's why I don't even worry about the reps, it doesn't matter. All I'm looking for is a conscious connection to the muscles that are working and whether they're approaching fatigue or not. And then I disengage my legs completely. I let my ego go out the window. I don't care if I look like a wuss just doing chin-ups with my legs touching the ground. I don't care what that looks like. It's just me working here. Okay, right?
What do you do to build up to that? If some people, like, I don't think I could do a pull-up, obviously, like at this time. Do I have to do something to build up that? I can't probably do one.
Hit rewind. The same answer I gave with the push-ups. Right? This is a skill. It's a very complicated skill.
Shape, like a little bit in good shape to do it, strong enough to do it.
This is a very complicated skill, okay? It's a very complicated skill. So if you want to get better at it, you have to practice it. Just like the guy juggling axes. You need to practice and practice and practice and practice.
You do half one.
you need to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And then you would have one day out of the week or one day every 2 weeks, that doesn't even matter really, where you do exercise, getting the muscles involved stronger by fatiguing the crap out of them. And then you don't touch that again for another long time. And in the meantime, you practice the skill of chin-ups.
Yeah, but the diet is so key also, because I know I did push-ups my whole life and I could never pass 10 push-ups.
Yes.
Like, I never got stronger. I would practice and practice, but if I'm heavy, it's harder.
Right, you never got stronger. Have you ever worked out like this?
Like the push-ups, like the what you're talking about.
Yes, everything in this lecture, yeah?
Probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I can start to argue, okay, well, because we didn't even know what the definition of exercise was, it's funny, now I talk to a person and they take a stroll down memory lane and realize, you know, I've never actually been doing real concrete exercise.
We wasted our whole life.
So yeah, you just want to make those adjustments so that you're not spinning your wheels and wasting your time, right? Do actual practical exercise, and now give me a month of that, no more, give me like a couple months of that, and then we can talk about if you're doing something wrong.
Right.
But until you're actually doing correct exercise, I don't know. Right?
Okay, sorry, we gotta get ready for the next speaker, but you can talk to Eli after this. One more time for Eli Martyr.